Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Monday, September 16th, and today we are talking about the next reason that the people in Jerusalem were exiled to Babylon. And this reason is that the prophecy was coming from their own hearts rather than coming from the Lord. And I'm not saying that Ezekiel's prophecy was, but there were these people that were giving them false prophecy. It was feel-good prophecy that was everything's peaches and cream, nothing's wrong, we don't need to worry about it. We're the cusp of the cusp, we're still God's chosen people, which they are. But it was prophecy that was not coming from the Lord. So in the Apologetics Study Bible, it had this note for chapter 13. The second circumstance that led to the fall of Judah and Jerusalem was that the people listened to and heeded the false prophets. This section clearly defines the breakdown of the religious institutions in the decline of the culture. Ezekiel listed 8 failures of these false prophets. They prophesied out of their own minds and hearts and not what the Lord had told them. They made the flock their prey. They failed to reinforce the people's faith in the time of crisis. They preached deception as divine revelation. They preached peace in the face of judgment. They used magical methods to gain advantage over the people. And they discouraged the righteous and encouraged the wicked. And lastly, they set up idols in their hearts, enshrining their own wills. So when you look at all of this and you put it all together, these false prophets were basically setting themselves up as a ruler. And the only ruler that belongs in that society is God himself. They expected the people to serve them. They used magical sorcery things to gain the people's confidence. They were deceiving them at every single turn. Now, in the Fire Study Bible, for Ezekiel 13:2-23, it said, God was against the false prophets of Israel, who were saying that judgment was not coming. In fact, they were predicting that the people were secure and had nothing to worry about, though they were living in open rebellion against God. If you're living in open rebellion against God, you do have something to worry about, because God's not going to tolerate it for very long. So now we're getting to verse 1 of Ezekiel 13. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel who are prophesying, and say to those who prophesy from their own hearts, hear the word of the Lord. Now the key phrase to take away from this is why the prophets are off. Do they prophesy from the Lord's heart? No, they are prophesying from their own ideas, what's in their heart, what they think, what they want. And we saw that not only in the Apologetics Study Bible, but we also saw that in the ESV Fire Study Bible. So what was in their heart? We're going to break these things down that were identified in the Apologetics Study Bible. First of all, they're making the people their prey or servants. They are taking advantage of the people. They are doing everything they can to manipulate the people. They're being intentionally deceptive of the people. And because of that, the people have become their prey, just as an animal would hunt down their prey to eat it. They're not reinforcing the people's faith in God. What they're saying is not glorifying God. It's not drawing people closer to God in their relationships with God. They're intentionally deceiving. They're intentionally manipulating the people into thinking what they want them to think. They're saying that there's peace when they are actually facing judgment. They used magic to establish this deception and faith in them rather than in God. So they're trying to put their faith in something else. They discouraged the righteous and encouraged wickedness. And lastly, they set up idols in their heart's desire. What they wanted is what was worshipped. They were all about elevating themselves. Now, They were in that one part where they were using magic to establish deception and faith in them instead of God. Where do we see that in our culture? Well, we see it in many places, but the first one that popped to my head was horoscopes. It clearly says in the Bible, look for signs in the sky of what God is doing. And people took that and they created the horoscopes. And they said that you can put your faith in what the stars' alignments is saying, and you can trust in that. And that's where your faith needs to be. Your faith needs to be in how these stars are arranged. And in doing that, not only are you putting your faith in the creation rather than in the creator, you are basically worshiping and glorifying the creation. And instead, you should be glorifying and worshiping the creator. We've got to be very mindful of that, because Satan takes things that God has started and he twists them and he puts the focus on him. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.